how intimidating it is to get up in front of you?
No.
I mean, did you ever get up in front of anybody like you?
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, your hands are cold.
Yours feels warm.
Want to go somewhere? Could walk down by the lake, or to Overton's hotel. They're dancing till midnight. Or we could just walk.
I can't. I've got to be back in 10 minutes. I shouldn't even be out here now.
10 minutes.
It's 8 o'clock. I've got to go.
Wait, you haven't said it to me yet.
That I love you?
No, not like that. You can't just sneak it in all quickly like that. You have to take a breath and prepare for it and then say it.
All right. I've taken a breath. Now I'm preparing for it. And now I'll say it. I love you, Eugene. We can't kiss. It's Good Friday.
Well, you have to kiss after you say I love you. Just not even Godfrey would forgive you that.
All right. I love you, Eugene. Oh, I almost forgot. This is for you. It's a book.
Oh, really? What book? I love your taste in books.
Well, it's blank pages. For your memoirs. Page 1 can start with tonight. Take care of yourself, Eugene Morris Jerome. And even if some other girl gets you, I'll always know you were my first love.
Okay, now when can you come?
I completely forgot everything as far as my physical goes, and then found myself...
You see, you can't imagine. You have to rehearse the physical life. You have to open up the seams of it, and if anything, do too much, and then see what you need and what becomes logical, and how you go away from and come back to. It's very possible that you might sit right away. I don't know, but you've decided you should stand, you see. You have 10 minutes. You don't have 30 seconds. You have 10 minutes. Do you follow? Now, I think you haven't followed through on the things you might do. Not feel or think, but do. Do you see? Okay. Now, something interesting you did at the beginning, which again arises in many, many scenes. You come in, he doesn't hear you, and you're surprised. I heard her. Why didn't you?
Actually, I was thinking about the pen. So.
You're not thinking about the pen. You're saying I shouldn't respond to her until she touches my shoulder. And that's a mistake. Now, you know the director who says, you come in, and there he is, and you see him. The director says, no, you don't see him yet. Now, you know you're laughing because that happens all the time, right? So now I come in, and I play, and I don't see you yet. Now I got to see you. Oh, oh my God. So don't do that to yourself, right? Don't give yourself bad summer stock directions. When you hear her. You're waiting for her. Do you see? You maybe didn't know good that you didn't know she was coming from there. Maybe you hope she's coming from here or from there. But then when you hear her, go with what you hear. Right? Okay. Hear what you hear and see what you see. And go with the responses to that. Okay. If you have a briefcase with you, what's in it? What did you bring it for? What did you bring with you? Did you bring a scratch pad with you to make notes for your next novel? Do you see? Then you will find true occupation. This way it's just a prop. It doesn't serve you. Okay? But the main thing is start with your physical life. And the outdoor scene is always harder than an indoor scene. Did you try it outdoors or not? You did.
It's the only place we did it.
What was around you there?
Mostly field.
Field.
A
Couple of
field.
trees.
Where was the building? Where was the building?
When we set it? Or
Yeah.
when we worked?
No, when you were working outdoors.
Oh, the actual building?
Yeah.
It was off to the left.
Okay. Did you look to see if anybody was coming out of it while you were rehearsing? I bet you did. If anybody's watching you while you're making eyes at each other? I don't know. I'm just saying the influence of the surroundings in terms of behavior, not thinking and feeling, but behavior. Give it another crack.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Yes.
I've read your book in the section on transference several times, and I've really worked on it, but I'm never clear if I'm doing it right, you know?
You won't be doing right until you start with your body.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and where it is and what it's doing there. Then we can start feeling.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
It's in the doings that you believe it. Not sitting thinking heat or thinking glare or thinking these things, but what do I do to overcome it? And in the moment of finding the action, you have the sensation. To bring about the things that the scenic designer can't give you. That's the purpose of this exercise. Okay. Some of that was wonderful. Now, how did you feel?
I felt private, you know, in my own thing, but the hard thing was try to fulfill what the exercise is supposed to be, and not feeling like this pressure to like, okay, I got to show this, I got to show that, I got to go from this to this, I got to in 3 minutes, I got to do all that, I got to like, you know what I mean?
No, you didn't fall into that trap. I didn't see any of that. I thought it was wonderful. Can you criticize anything? Anything you doubted for a second? I bet you won't, because you did it twice, so I knew that you weren't aware of it the first time. Usually, something like the sand, which is very suggestible, was wonderful right away with the toes while you were lying at the opening, was just marvelous. Then, after the first brushing yourself off, it had no consequence, and you rubbed sand in your eyes. I thought, oh, his hands, because I was so I was so sensitive to it, and you finally got this off the thing, and then you went, and I thought, ow, he just got sand in his eye.
You're right, and that was a hard thing in working on it too.
But
I would find myself like, oh my God, wait a minute,
But it's usually so suggestible that it sets up
that
correct reflexes.
Right,
and the fly was wonderful, the sand fly. There was and when you shook the shirt out, which was wonderful, I had the feeling it got on your stomach. Mm-hmm. And you see, and it wasn't sensorily completed. Exactly. If you had allowed yourself more faith in that, it would have followed through all by itself. Okay. This is when I love theater, because that's magic. When I start to see a sand up there and I'm on a beach and I start to feel the sun and get the glare, and it was marvelous, George. Very good. All right. Occupation is what gives us a presence on stage. And it doesn't have to be out or running around and doing the dishes and leaping into bed. What do I do when I seemingly have nothing to do? I'm waiting for a bus, or I'm waiting for a subway, or I'm waiting for somebody in a park. It's the ultimate test, this exercise, and how to put yourself into a time and place and truly be occupied without a whole lot of stuff. Okay. Now, how did you feel?
Pretty good.
It was pretty good. It's amazing for a first one. If anything, if you would criticize anything, what it would be in your selection?
Well, I know one technical difficulty is I have to rehearse that, but I don't know. You tell me.
You had enough to do so that you're almost avoiding the problem.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Right? So you select less activities and see how... The interesting thing when this exercise... Well, you could have gone on another 5 minutes, couldn't you? And it wouldn't have bothered you.
Right.
That's what was good about it. And when it's correct, we feel fully occupied if we know where we are, what we're doing there, what we're wearing, where we're going, where we came from. And when I say what we're wearing, how the clothing influences how you stand. If you had on shoes that were too tight or a an evening jacket or an evening shirt, you would, for going someplace fancy, you would behave quite differently. Isn't that true? Sure. And those are the considerations why this is a little bit easier to do here in this exercise than it is on stage, is that when we're on stage in a problem like this, we are wearing a costume instead of our own clothes. We haven't endowed them with a reality so that they belong to us. We very often are spare on inner objects that come from the given circumstances, which are different for the character in the play than they would be for you. And so that it's more difficult to execute on the stage. But the principle of it remains the same. You didn't give yourself enough room in between when you were caught by an inner consideration of something that had happened, something that will happen, what you're going to do when you get there. And you can be caught by an inner object that produces thought where you can be totally still for quite a while.
Right.
And when it wears out for you, then you go to an outer object again. Give yourself more inner objects and more room to deal with them instead of always going from activity to activity. Okay, very good. Thank you.